Morning. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Namo Vasudevaya.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayat. For reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan and to the supermost human being, Narayan Rishi, and to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and onto the author, Srila Vyasadeva. Today we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are reading from the third canto, entitled The Status Quo, and we are completing the reading of chapter 5, entitled Vidura Talks with Maitreya. It's exciting to end a chapter, and I was excited to start a new chapter of the Bhagavatam, and then it's always excited to finish a canto and start a new canto, and then like that. Okay, so text 51, any classes? One Sanskrit word at a time. Tata, Vayam, Mat Pramuka, Yat Arte, Babu Vima, Atman, Karavama, Kim, Te, Tvam, Na, Swachakshu, Paridehi, Shaktya, Deva, Kriya Arte, Yat, Anugrahanam. Tato Swayamat Pramuka Yadarte, Babu Vimatman Karavama Kimte, Twamna Swachakshu Paridehi Shaktya, Deva Kriyate Yad Anugrahanam. Tato Vayamat Pramuka Yadarte, Babu Vimatman Karavama Kimte, Vamna Swachakshu Paridehi Shaktya, Deva Kriyate Yad Anugrahanam.
Tato Vayamat Pramuka Yadarte.
Tato Vayamat Pramuka Yadarte.
Karavama Kimte.
Babu Vimatma Karavama Kimte.
Svamna Chakshu Paridehi Shaktya.
Svamna Chakshu Paridehi Shaktya.
Deva Kriyate Yadanugrahanam.
Kriyate Yadanugrahanam.
Tato Vayamat Pramuka Yadarte.
So Vayama Pamuka Bahu Vimatman Karavama Kinte Vamna Swajakshu Paride Shakya
Devi Kriya Nugraham
Deva Kriyate Anugraham.
Now, someone online would like to chant the mantra. Okay, no volunteers. So, word for one translation, Tata. Therefore, Vayam, all of us, Mat Pramuka, coming from the total cosmos, the Mahat Tattva, Yad Arte, for the purpose of which Babuvima created Atman of Supreme Self, Karavama shall do, Kim, what, Te, your service, Twam, yourself, Na, to us, Swachakshu, personal plan, Paridehi, specifically grant us, Shaktya, with potency to work, Deva, O Lord, Kriya Arte, by acting, Yad, from which, Anugrahanam, of those who are specifically favored. Translation. O Supreme Self, please give us, who are created in the beginning from the Mahatattva, the total cosmic energy, your kind direction on how we shall act. Can you award us your perfect knowledge and potency so that we can render your service in the different departments of subsequent creation? Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The Lord creates this material world and impregnates the material energy with the living entities who will act in the material world. All these actions have a divine plan behind them. The plan is to give the conditioned souls who so desire a chance to enjoy sense gratification. But there is another plan behind the creation, to help the living entity realize that they are created for the transcendental sense gratification of the Lord and not for their individual sense gratification. This is the constitutional position of the living entities. The Lord is one without a second, and He expands Himself into many for His transcendental pleasure. All the expansion, the Vishnu Tattvas, the Jiva Tattvas, the Shakti Tattvas, the personality of Godhead, the living entities, and the different potential energies are different offshoots from the same one Supreme Lord. The Jiva Tattvas are separated expansion of the Vishnu Tattvas, and also there are potential differences between them. They are all meant for the transcendental sense gratification of the Supreme Lord. Some of the Jivas, however, wanted to lord it over material nature in imitation of the lordship of the personality of Godhead. Regarding when and why such a propensity overcame the pure living entities, it can only be explained that the Jiva Tattvas have infinitesimal independence, and that due to misuse of this independence, some of the living entities have become implicated in the conditions of cosmic creation and are therefore called Nitya Badas, or eternally conditioned souls. The expansion of Vedic wisdom also gives the Nitya Badas, the conditioned living entities, a chance to improve, and those who take advantage of such transcendental knowledge gradually regain their lost consciousness of rendering transcendental loving service to the Lord. The demigods are amongst the conditioned soul who have developed this pure consciousness of service to the Lord, but who at the same time continue to desire to lord it over the material energy. Such a mixed consciousness puts a conditioned soul in the position of managing the affair of this creation. The demigods are trusted leaders of the conditioned soul, as some of the old prisoners in government jail are entrusted with some responsible works of prison management. So the demigods are improved conditioned soul, acting as representative of the Lord in the material creation. Such demigods are devotees of the Lord in the material world, and when completely free from all material desire, to lord it over material energy, they become pure devotees and have no desire but to serve the Lord. Therefore, any living entity who desires a position in the material world may desire so in the service of the Lord and may seek power and intelligence from the Lord, as exemplified by the demigod in this particular verse. One cannot do anything unless he is enlightened and empowered by the Lord. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Mata smriti agyanam apoanapcha, all recollections, knowledge, etc., as well as all forgetfulness, are engineered by the Lord, who is sitting within the heart of everyone. The intelligent man seeks the help of the Lord, and the Lord helps the sincere devotee engage in his multifarious services. The demigods are entrusted by the Lord to create different species of living entities according to their past deeds. They are herein asking the favor of the Lord for the intelligence and power to carry out their task. Similarly, any conditioned soul may also engage in the service of the Lord under the guidance of an expert spiritual master, and thus gradually become freed from the entanglement of material existence. The spiritual master is a manifested representative of the Lord, and anyone who puts himself under the guidance of a spiritual master and act accordingly is said to be acting in terms of buddhi yoga, as explained in Bhagavad Gita 2:41. Vyavayasyatmikya buddhi rekehaku dandana baushakya mantascha baudayo vyasayanimam. Thus, on the Bhaktivedanta purport in the third canto, 5th chapter of the Bhagavatam entitled Vidura's Talk with Maitreya. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanajala Shalakaya Shakshun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtapitam Yana Bhutale Swayam Kadamayam Dadati Swapadam Tikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupa Sagajatam Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saita Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Shah. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kamta Hada Kamta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Korangira Devrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha kalpata ubhyacha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pustaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tinamine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirviseshya Shunyavadi Pastyacha Deshatarine Mukam Koti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Grim Yatrita Tamaham Bande Shigu Deshatarinem. So we are reading from the third canto, entitled The Status Quo, chapter 5, Vidura Talks with Maitreya. We are on the last verse of the chapter 51. It reads, O Supreme Self, please give us, who are created in the beginning from the Mahatattva, the total cosmic energy, your kind direction, and how we shall act. Kindly award us your perfect knowledge and potency, so that you can render your service in a different department of subsequent creation. Hare Krishna. When I read that verse, I thought, what a beautiful prayer. And the Bhagavatam is full of beautiful prayers. And ideally, what we want to do is to take those prayers. Srila Prabhupada encourages us to learn Vandanam. Vandanam is one of the 9 items of devotional service, one we don't speak so much about, however, one that's so present in the Bhagavad Gita, in Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita prayers. And when Prabhupada speaks about prayer, he says, yeah, we should learn those prayers from the pure devotees, and we should learn to repeat them. And also, naturally, we also have our own prayers. And it's not one or the other, it's to learn to absorb ourselves in prayer. Absorbing ourselves in prayer, it's kind of keeping dialogue between us and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to constantly have that dialogue open, because it's so easy to create a break in relationship when we stop speaking. If there is no dialogue, then there is no relationship in one sense. So prayers are a way to keep the dialogue. And I have been fascinated for many, many years from my childhood by nuns. In America, we don't see nuns, but where I grew up, there is nuns in the streets. Nuns are very present. Every hospital I went to as a child, nuns were the nurses. So it's very prevalent. And I was always fascinated by nuns. I was always thinking, wow, there's something about them, or maybe scared of the renunciation of their life because they renounce everything. And anyway, a fascination there. And nuns are known, at least in the the Carmelite direction, they are known to spend their days in prayers. That's what they do. They are in contemplation, and they speak about descending prayer, but they also recite many times during the day, they recite prayers to the Lord, recite prayers of great devotees who have written those prayers from also. So Srila Prabhupada encourages us to do that. And those descending prayers the Carmelites speak about, I do trust that when we learn prayers, then more and more we are imbibed with natural prayer kind of coming from Super Soul, descending upon us. And another source of beautiful prayers are, of course, all the bhajan from the Vaishnavacharya. And Srila Prabhupada gave us a book of bhajan, and in that book, there is so many prayers. Prayers that's often the devotees start from understanding my position, like I'm so fallen, I'm so far away. And and then coming to a place of helplessness, powerlessness, and then from that place only can we really pray with feeling to the Lord, seeing the Lord as the source of everything, the Lord as omnipotent, omniscient, the one who is moving the material creation. Without that type of humility, then we are always going to think we are the doer. So here the demigods were like very, very powerful beings. They are entrusted by the Lord the second creation, the subsequent creation. Of course, we also entrusted subsequent creation. We want to understand that, we have a role to play, but as long as we are separated from God, from Krishna, then we are kind of lost with a role to play because the false ego gets in the way. So those demigods, they are super empowered and entrusted for creation. Why? Because they are good citizens. They are good prisoners, Srila Prabhupada said. They are good prisoners. They, like we can imagine in a prison, there is little by little, maybe some prisoners, they get okay with the guard or with the system in general, and then they are interested. Okay, now you can take care of the other prisoner. Teach the other prisoner how to live their life. Teach the other prisoner how to, come to happiness. And you're in charge of them. So Prabhupada gives that analogy, and I often like to take analogy from the prison. It helps when we take an analogy, something close that helps us understand something that's far away and maybe it's very conceptual. So at the beginning of his purport, this purport is so amazing. I feel every sentence of his purport, we could have a 3-hour or 10-hour class on every sentence, and it's so complete. It seems that the entire philosophy of Krishna consciousness is contained in this, and with so many nuances. I was thinking ideally I would like to just do that, go over all the sentences. But so Srila Prabhupada's purport starts with creation, and he said that the Lord created this material cosmic manifestation by, in his form of Mahavishnu. He impregnates the inert material energy with the spirit soul, who are Jiva. So that's the beginning of creation. And then there is a why. Why is there a need for creation? And the very first reason is because there is a need for a prison, because there is people who go against the law. There is people who are criminals. And that's the only reason you can say, why is there prison? The prison are bad. We shouldn't have prison. And you say, why is there prison? Well, the first reason there is prison is because there is people who are deciding to enjoy their senses, enjoy themselves, separated from the rule of the government. That's what it is. And then there is a need to, put people somewhere who are not following the rule to rectify their situation. And then, so that's the first purpose of creation. The first purpose of creation is to satisfy the desire of those living entities who decide they want to imitate God. Srila Prabhupada takes that word, he said, imitation God. So it's for all the imitation God of people who want to lord over the material energy and think that they are God. I am God. I am God. I'm making plans. I make things happen. And so all those living entities, then there is a place for them. It's called the material cosmic manifestation. It's made of, so many elements. And then the second purpose of creation, so that's the first purpose, to send people somewhere. And then because the Lord is so merciful, because the Lord is so caring. And because all those jivas, Srila Prabhupada said in his purport, and all the soul, they are made for his enjoyment. We are manifested as a result of Krishna's desire to enjoy. So we are enjoyable for Krishna. So we are emanating from Krishna based and born of Krishna's desire to enjoy. And so when we want to lord over material nature, kind of we unplug from our original reason of existence, let's say. And we separate ourselves from that original reason, constitutional position. And so we are cast into a place, okay? So that's where you go. You want to be separated, be separated. There's nothing wrong, like Krishna is just fulfilling our desire. Krishna fulfilled Yeyatamam Prapadante, Yeyatamam Prapadante, Tam Stataiva Bhajamyaham, Mamanu Vartante, Manushya Bharta Sarvasa. Manushya means human being. Yeyatamam. As they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. That's what the Lord said. It's really nice. So, yeah. So he reward us and he fulfill our desire. And when the desire of the spirit soul is to be separated from Krishna, desire to lord it over, he say, okay, here, I'm give you something. It's like a teenager, he wants to enjoy separated from his parents, to say, okay, go, see what you do, see how you do in that situation. However, because the Lord is so merciful, which parents may not be that merciful with their teenager, but because the Lord is so merciful, you say, okay, so I'm going to send you to a place where you can have the illusion of lording over material nature, which is not possible for you because you don't have the power to do that, because Maya, it's my Maya, it's my material energy. So it's very powerful. So you're tiny, puny, insignificant, and you can be in illusion, you can lord over my energy, but it's not going to happen. But still, you can go there and be in illusion. That's okay. But that's not all that the Lords do. That's not all. It doesn't stop there. He said, and I'm going to come with you. And I'm going to accompany you as a super soul. And I'm going to give you Vedic literature to re-guide you, because the real, like the purpose of the material creation, Srila Prabhupada said, it's second, he said, but there is another plan behind the creation to help the living entity realize that they are created for the transcendental sense gratification of the Lord and not for their individual sense gratification. So the whole system is like an amazing system. It's an amazing system that's blows my mind all the time, that is made to make us regain our constitutional position as being made to give pleasure to Krishna. To Krishna, that's what we are supposed to do, to give pleasure to Krishna. Sarvopadi nivirmuktam tat parvena nirmalam Rishikesha Rishikena Sevanam Bhakti Uchyate. Sarvopadi, Sarvo Upadi, all the false identification. When we are free from all those upadi, like false identification, and we understand that the purpose of our life is to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By purified senses, when our senses are purified, then we serve the master of the senses. Because really, like this very moment, I could stop to be able to see. Yeah, my power to see can be taken at any moment. My power to hear can be taken at every moment. My power to smell, some people, they get COVID, they don't have the power to smell, don't have the power to taste. So that means that power is coming from somewhere. Rishikesha, Rishikena. Rishikesh is like the owner of the senses. So Krishna is the owner of our senses, is the one who give us all those senses. And when we use those senses in the service of Krishna, then that's perfection of the function of all the senses. And only in that place can we really be satisfied and fulfilled and enjoy. And by devoting all our senses in the service of the owner of the senses. Sevanam, seva, bhakti uchyate, by the owner of, like sevanam, doing service to the owner of the senses. So that's, there is two reasons for creation. We remember one is to fulfill the desire of the rebellious soul. By the way, the rebellious soul is nothing to be proud about. It's about 10% of all jiva. Of course, it's 10% of affinity. So it's, you get it, it's kind of 10% of unlimited amount of infinite jiva soul. And then Srila Prabhupada, his purport, he goes into like, and there is, when the Lord wants to enjoy, he manifests 3 different types of energy of our manifested being. One is a jiva, which is a tiny, minuscule spark. We are a spark. So those people who say we are a spark, we are a spark. And then there's a Vishnu Tattva, is also made for his enjoyment. It's kind of unique, this purport, where Srila Prabhupada presents the Vishnu Tattva also as being emanation from Krishna. We know, like, it's emanation, it's expansion, or primary expansion, or partial expansion of the planetary expansion. We know all that. And the Vishnu Tattva, they don't fall. Why? Because they have a greater quantity of Vishnu. They are Vishnu Tattva, so they have a greater quantity of who Vishnu is, and they are not able to be covered by the material energy. And there is a Shakti Tattva, which are, I have a verse in my mind, but it doesn't want to come, about all the energy of the Lord, the energy of the Lord, the energy of the Lord that are multifarious energy of love, the energy of existence, the energy of knowledge, for example. That's 3 primary energy of the Lord: Ladini, Sandvit, and Sandini. Yeah, Sandini, those energy of the Lord. So there is 3 categories of expansion of the Lord: Jiva, and of course, sometimes there is presentation where there is way more, but those 3 we need to understand. Those 3 is important for us to understand. To understand we are Jiva and infinitesimal. We are so small that we can be covered. And Srila Prabhupada say here, which is, this purport is so full of information. He said, why is it that those Jiva, they get a desire to separate themselves from their constitutional position? Why is it that they're, and Prabhupada said, well, we can retrace that by understanding that the minuteness of the jiva with a minute independence. That jiva, because without independence, there is no love. Love only can exist with independence. So the Lord, when he expands himself, when he wants to enjoy, and what the jiva that manifest out of him, they are free to enjoy with him or not. Because otherwise, if there was only force, then there will be no love. So because of the misuse of this tiny independence, it's very tiny, it's not a big independence, we cannot do much with it, but we can separate ourselves from Krishna to that tiny. And then Srila Prabhupada speak about Nitya Bada. Nitya Bada means eternally conditioned. So that's heavy to really, if we sit with that, eternally conditioned, Nitya Bada, that's what we are. And Srila Prabhupada said, why he said eternally is because we can never retrace with our time frame, or even with the time frame of Lord Brahma, when we started to be covered over and conditioned in a material energy. So let's see. So Srila Prabhupada said there is a Veda and they help. The Vedas, they help us to regain, wake up. Chakshusa, there is a word like that's used in this word for word. Chakshu something. Or Swachakshu, personal plan, Swachakshu. And Chakshu Sha, or Shastra Chakshu, by the eyes of knowledge, we can regain, understand, yeah, I have been here for a long time, many lifetimes, many lifetimes. And as soon as the Jiva turned to God and really mold his life around God consciousness, he becomes a demigod. So in a sense, we can see all of us as demigod on one hand. And Srila Prabhupada also presents that perspective. And because we want to put God in the center, and the demigods, they want to serve, they are in the service to the Lord, they want to do the function of the Lord, and they still have material desire. They are mixed. They are not pure devotees. They are mixed. And Srila Prabhupada, he said, a lot of my disciples will end up in heavenly planets. And recently, someone asked the question, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? You know, pure, like we are devoted to the Lord, fully given to the Lord, and the Lord, because we are good citizens in a prison, he gave us responsibility for creation. He's given responsibility to be in charge of the other jiva and appropriately give them bodies according to their past deeds, according to their past desire and past activities. So it sounds like, wow, and then demigods live what seems to a human being eternal life, like really long time, like most hundreds or millions of like you know, for Lord Brahma is 3 trillions, 1 per day. So his life, I don't know what his lifespan.
311 trillion, 40 billion.
Yes, you go to his number. 300, yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Is 3 trillion times 1,000. That's what it is. But times 100. No, 360 times 100.
One day of Brahma, I mean, like 24 hours.
24.
Is 8 billion 400 million, and then it's then times 100 for a year, and then times times 360 per year, then times 100 years.
Yeah,
that's what it goes.
300 trillions. Anyway, it sounds like a lot of time.
It's a lot.
Oh God, I will be so bored. So we can look at it like that. But anyway, so the demigod, we feel like, wow, yeah, they live almost eternally. And it seems that also they live in heavenly planets. What does that mean? Is that in the heavenly planets, there is really high level satisfaction. Like when it comes to sense gratification, sense grat is way higher than here. You know, some people here, their sense gratification is smoking a cigarette. We want to be real. You know, we want to be real. What we find is sense gratification here on this planet. And if we, we can look at ourselves, sense gratification is eating junk food, or sense gratification maybe, whatever it is, in comparison to the sophistication and the elevation of demigod sense gratification. It's like from our point of view as devotee, we can look at someone eating a steak and feeling so much pleasure from eating a steak. We feel like, wow, is that sense gratification, or smoking a cigarette or drinking alcohol? And we are just like, wow, your level of sense gratification seems like hell to me. So for the demigods, they look at our level of sense gratification and just think like, it's not even sense gratification, it's torture, it's sense torture. So their level of sense gratification is very, very elevated. Like everything is nectar, everything is ambrosial, every aspect, the nature, the lake, the rivers, the animals, the relationships, the beauty of the people, everything we can imagine. So yes, why not? I'm serving God, I'm fully focused on God, I'm an instrument of God, and I'm living in that heavenly place. So why not? So Krishna responds to that question. He said, Brahma bhuvana loka puna avartino chuna mamupatye konteya punarjamana vidyate. And in that verse, Krishna, I have the translation, so I will read it. From the highest planet in the material world, so the highest planet in the material world is Brahmaloka, Satyaloka, Brahmaloka. Down to the lowest is like the hellish planet, below Patalaloka. To the lowest, all are places of miseries. That's the material one, like the brochure. Not so long ago, you were speaking about the brochure. So that's the brochure for the material world. All places of misery wherein repeated births and deaths take place. But one who attests to my about the son of Kuti never takes birth again. So maybe we have a long life. Maybe we enjoy our senses, separated from the Lord. Maybe the misery is not that much. There's not much misery, but still there is birth and death. And that in itself is miserable, to take birth and death. And that's when one understands the intrinsic misery of birth and death. Only understanding that, most people don't understand what's wrong with taking birth. Death, most people understand death is miserable, and most people are scared of death. But scared of birth, that's another, I don't want to take birth. Like if I think of like the hellish of this life, it's so intense. Like there is drops of happiness for like so much work. And even that, most of the time, the work doesn't bring happiness. Just happiness comes on its own accord. Matras parsas tu konte sitos nas sukadukada agama baya nityam. Das titiksha swabharata. Yeah, like the appearance or disappearance of happiness and distress are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer season. One should just learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. It's a song, children's song. That's a funny song for children to sing. Anyhow, that's it. That's what it is. So like we work very hard for happiness, and Srila Prahlad Maharaj, he said, the more we work for happiness, the more we create misery for ourselves. And happiness and distress, they come and go like, winter and summer season. We just need to tolerate them without being disturbed. So, it's a place of misery everywhere, and to understand the intrinsic misery of birth and death is a really big step in spiritual life. Very, very big step in spiritual life. People think that spiritual life is woo-woo, being able to move objects or see auras or do telepathy. That's spiritual. No, that's not spiritual at all. There is nothing spiritual about that. Just moving the solar energy of the Lord is non-different than taking an object from one place to another. It's just different energies, material energy. What's spiritual is to understand the intrinsic misery of birth and death. That's spiritual, to really get that. Anyhow, so what does Srila Prabhupada say? So he says disciple will end up in a heavenly planet. So what do we need to absorb in order to not end up in a heavenly planet? We may not desire that, but let's say we do. To be like, to attend to his eternal abode, like he said, Brahma Bhuvana Loka, to attend to Punarjanma Navidyate, to like attain a place where there is no birth and no death, and where we are completely back to be in our constitutional position. What's needed for that is more and more identifying what's for me, my little preservation, my little sense gratification, I and my, I, me, my, all through the day, I, me, my. You sound like that? It's a little song.
You're dating yourself. You're showing your age in this body. I completely know the song, but others might not, because they're a different generation.
Anyway.
It's George Harris.
Yeah. So
influenced by Prabhupada.
Yeah. So to identify anartha nivritti is part of the process, a spiritual process, is anartha nivritti. And what does anartha nivritti means? The word anartha nivritti is to identify the unwanted things inside our hearts. What are those unwanted things inside our heart? Is defined here is that all the desire that are in our heart to lord over material nature. So anartha nivritti is another spiritual process that means to identify all the unwanted thing in our heart. And when we identify it, awareness is 80% of the work, then we can humbly go to the Lord. Look, Krishna, instead of serving you when I cook, I think of my senses. I think of what I like. Look, Krishna, instead of serving you, I want honor or distinction. Look, Krishna, instead of serving you, I desire to be comfortable. Whatever, we want. It's not like we are going into self-condemnation. It's self-awareness. Self-awareness and self-condemnation is not the same. Self-awareness is great. It's like going in a room. I'm entering a room in my house, and I found that there is some dirt on the floor, let's say, yeah? And I can just go down with that dirt. Oh God, there is dirt in my room. It's so bad. I don't know what to do. There is so bad. That's not what we do. We go and some people may do that, yeah. But usually we just like, wow, I didn't see, like my eyesight is going down, so I don't see dirt. And sometimes, I forget to remove my glasses when I read, and I go somewhere in the house, and then I see something on the wall or on my stove, and because I don't see dirt anymore. And so when I put my glasses, I see dirt that I couldn't see otherwise. And I'm really happy. That's wonderful. I have an opportunity to clean. I have an opportunity to, so I feel grateful. I feel grateful. So awareness of anything in our hearts, the next emotion that possibly would follow that will be helpful for our spiritual life is gratitude. Gratitude. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Krishna, for showing me that I need to take some broom. But really what I need to do, the way to take the broom is Cheto Darpanam Marjanam Mahabhavadavagni Nirvapanam Shriyakaryava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Ananda Buddhirvadanam Patitanam Punamutaswadanam Sarvatmas Napam Param Shri Vijayati Shri Krishna Sankirtan. So I see the dirt and I'm staying with that with gratitude. And that gratitude is like, it's so humbling. Now I can turn to Krishna. I said, my room is dirty, Krishna. I'm so sorry because I'm serving you with that dirty room and I wish to have a clean room to serve you. And thank you for giving the process to have a clean room to serve you and to show me all that's not clean. And I'm going to take the broom. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. And that's it. And that's it. And I continue. And the last leg of religion is truthfulness. As long as we are truthful and honest, and we are aware, we look, and we turn to the Lord, telling the Lord what we see in gratitude, being grateful that, oh, I don't want to end up in a heavenly planet. I know that right now I'm developing like a demigod, like I want you to be in the center and I want to serve you and I'm serving you. And, in some ways I'm, creating things for you, God, but I'm so also attached to my sense gratification. And I don't want that. I really want to be fully surrendered to you. And how do we do that? Through the mercy of the pure devotee. Brahmande, Brahmite, Kona, Bhagavan, Jiva. Brahmande means like turning around, going around and around and around in circle. Upper planetary system, Earth, lower planetary system, Earth, and upper planetary system, and Earth, 8,400,000 species of life, circling. Brahmande, that's what it means, circling, Brahmite, Brahmande, Brahmiti. Kona, Bhagavan. Bhagavan means fortunate. So if one in this journey of up and down and going and all those species is fortunate enough to meet a pure devotee, to meet a pure devotee through is a direct association and the association of his representative, then Guru Krishna Prashadipal Bhakti Lata Beach. So we are going, by the mercy of the Guru, we receive the Bhakti Lata, that seed of becoming a demigod, that now I'm going to focus on Krishna. And now we free ourselves from ending up again in a heavenly planet, because after the heavenly planet, when we die, we may not take a birth in a heavenly planet anymore. We may come back here. And then when we are here, we still have our minute independence to choose. When I come back here, will I choose Krishna again? Or will I choose no, I was a demigod, I had power, I have power here too. And I'm going to use my power to lord over material nature and exploit material nature. And then I go to the lower species of life or lower planetary system. And again, until I meet pure devotee, Guru Krishna Prashadipal, Bhakti Lata Beach, and receive the Bhakti Lata, the seed of Bhakti. Bija means seed, Bhakti Lata Bij, the seed of the creeper of Bhakti. So, and without the spiritual master guidance, we are not going to make those distinctions. There is no way we can make the distinction about what's spiritual, what's not spiritual, what's conducive for devotional service, what's not conducive for devotional service. Only through the guidance of the spiritual master do we learn to surrender. And when we learn to surrender, when we put our effort to learn how to surrender to the Lord, then the Lord helps us. He protects us, He maintains us. And through humility, surrender means humility. Okay, I'm going to stop here and read the verse again. Tato vayamat pramukha yadarte babu vimatman karava makimte twamna swashakshu paridehi shaktya deva kriyate yad anugrahanam. The Supreme Self, oh Supreme Self, we can all imagine praying that way. Oh Supreme Self, please give us, who are created in the beginning from the Mahatattva, the total cosmic energy, your kind direction on how we shall act. Kindly award us your perfect knowledge and potency so we can render you service in the different departments of subsequent creation. There is a lot more to the purport that we didn't discuss, and maybe we should give another class on this purport, but it's time to stop. Hare Krishna. Any comment, question, challenges, sharing, realization?
Hearing some sound online.
Kim. You're on mute, Kim.
Sorry. Hare Krishna. I enjoyed the class a lot. Your explanations of, the spiritual of why we've taken birth here. And it's just, I don't know, it's just for me, it's the most enlightening part of the whole philosophy, because there's such kindness in it, really, what Krishna's done to allow us to kind of, if we're not towing the line as a servant to him, then, we're not smited. We just, he's made this arrangement so that we can come back. It's kind of in this philosophy. So I say that really amazes me. And the other thing is, I always do have this little thing in me, I think, well, why did God want us to be a servant? Kind of weird. I get hung up on that, and it'll bother me on some level. But then I bring back to my simple things in my own life, and it's like with my pets. Why do I bring them into my life? It's because they bring me joy, and to one level or another, they bring me joy, and I've brought them into my life. And so I kind of try to equate that to what Krishna's with the souls, Jesus, and.
Oh, she disappeared. I'm going to see if Kim come back before I reflect what I understand Kim is saying. It was difficult for me to understand. I imagine it was difficult for everyone. Maybe she won't come back. Kim, you disappeared, and I didn't. I heard most of what you said, but it was very breaking down. I will.
I'm sorry.
What I understood. Yeah, it's very joyful for you to understand, the perspective of how the jiva end up in the material energy, and how benevolent the Lord is to the jiva by creating a place of love for them to come back to their senses. Like, wake up, jiv jago. And everything about the material world is about wake up. And then you appreciate that. And then after you spoke about the demigods, and you spoke about something that bother you, and I didn't really get it because everything was breaking down.
let's I just equated to like, you know, for it to serve or is that our purpose? It don't bother me.
I'm not clearly hearing you, Kim, to know.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's so broken. I hear word like servant is bother me, but I'm not getting a clear picture of what's happening. If someone else understood.
That's what I get is sometimes it bothers her thinking like, why does Krishna want us to be servants? But then I think there was something more that she was saying beyond that I wasn't getting.
Is that what you're sharing, like, Kim, that what bothers you is that why does Krishna want us to be servant? Is that Kim left and
There's
yeah.
another piece to it. I think she was having some realization about that.
Yes, and about the demigods. Unfortunately, I'm not clear about Kim sharing and about the demigods and about, yeah, the Qigong teacher I'm following, you know, is kind of, I think he has realization, but because he also have a philosophy, you know, sometimes there is a clash between the two, but there is something he says that I really like, and I meditate a lot. He said, in the universe is made of that healing, loving energy. And that's what it is. It's a healing, loving energy. And the healing is for us to heal our dis-ease. And this is that for us to separate ourselves from our constitutional position. Of course, it's a disease. It's a really deep disease that we need to flush out. And that energy, yeah, the whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by Krishna's energy, which is a loving, healing energy. Kim, you're back. You disappeared again, and even when you were sharing, it wasn't clear what you were sharing.
Can you hear me okay now? Can you hear me okay? No.
Perfect.
Oh, okay. Let me just finish my thought really fast. I'm sorry to cause so much trouble. Yeah, I was just saying, yes, sometimes that throws me that Krishna made us, you know, to be servants. But then I think, and, you know, to bring something else into his life, I think joy. And then I bring it back to my own life, and I bring pets into my life for that purpose. I bring them in to bring to bring me joy and to add to my life. But then I think at the same time, as soon as I do that, I try to bring joy to their life. Like it's such a beautiful relationship in a way. And of course, Krishna's relationship with the soul is so much greater, but it's just a way for me to kind of fix that in my mind, because sometimes it throws me. But I don't know, that helps me in my way I think about it, you know, that it's actually a beautiful relationship, you know, and he wants to bring us joy too, you know.
Yeah, thank you, Kim. Jivira Swarup Oi, Krishna Nitya Das, that we are eternally, our constitutional position, Jivira Swarup, the Swarup of the Jiva, is the Krishna Nitya Das, to be an eternal servant of Krishna. And so that's bothering, because we like to be master. We don't like to be servant, you know, we all like to be master, and servant have a bad connotation. It means like humiliation. It means so many things in our little conditioned mind. Servants mean less. It means so many things. And here on the purport, Srila Prabhupada didn't really speak about servant. He spoke about the service that he gives to the demigod. And also, that as Krishna we are manifested out of his desire to enjoy. So your pets are also manifesting out of a desire to enjoy. Yeah, your pet manifesting in your life, in your house, or your pet, the geese, the duck, the dogs. They are
Yes.
they are manifesting out of your desire to enjoy. Like same thing, we are manifested out of the desire for Krishna to enjoy. And you can see that there is a natural reciprocation of love. They are there for you to enjoy. So they are your servant. They are your servant. They are serving your enjoyment. but you can see you're serving them so much. You know, you're in complete dedication, like so much dedication people have for their dogs. They go out, and even like when the dog have a drop, they pick the drop, like, you know, like that. So those dogs are there for my desire to enjoy. So they're in service to me, but I serve them even more than they are serving me. And you can see how it is true for Krishna too, in a similar way. You know. It does pick up our drops in some ways. And also what's beautiful with Krishna is that we can serve him as in so many ways. We can serving in a neutral kind of relationship where it's like awe and reverence. We can serve him in a relationship of servitude where it's like we are enjoying, like when someone have a good master. In fact, there is study, you know, it's like politically incorrect. I like to say politically incorrect things. But there is study about a slave, you know, even in America, you know, slave that were bought from Africa, and that their life was so good. Their life was so good because they had a good master. Their master was caring for them. He was caring about their body, he was caring about their food. They were sumptuously dressed. They had really nice food. They had enjoyment. Then their life was so much better than in Africa, and so much better than after the liberation of the slave. Yeah, I know it's not very politically correct, and I love going there personally to places like that.
You're not going to win any election.
No, I don't mind not being popular, and so it's like that. It's like that. Some soul, they are in love with being a servant of Krishna, like to really serve Krishna as a servant, serve Krishna as a servant. And there is a prayer, I don't have it here, it's such a beautiful prayer. It's like, I'm so proud of having such great servants. And we can imagine people who are very well treated by their master, like, you know, Varnashram Dharma, you know, the Shudras, they are serving, and they are very happy. They are very happy. They are so proud, like, I'm a servant of that great master. And everybody is like that, isn't it? Who is like the most famous person for you? Let's say a movie star or
Taylor
a rock
Swift.
and roll, huh?
Taylor Swift.
Oh, it says Taylor Swift. Oh, that's my daughter's. Okay, let's go there. Taylor Swift. I have no idea who is Taylor Swift, but let's go there. Let's say that Taylor Swift said, oh, so-and-so, one of the fans, would you like to go with me? And you carry all my luggage and you cook for me and you make my bed in the morning. How the person is going to feel? Wow, it's amazing. I get to do that. I get to be around my master in that way. Yes, I can even clean your bathroom and do everything you want. I will do your laundry too. So that's it. That's it. You know, like we are like that too. To deny it is just illusion. And then so serving the Lord as servant. And then there is also serving the Lord as a friend, serving the Lord as a parent, and serving the Lord as a lover. So it's like we are servants and we get to serve with more and more level of intimacy, the Lord. So yeah, so Kim, I really love your analogy. I'm going to remember it. I love it. I never thought about that before, but now it's just so clear. Good analogy. Thank you, Kim. And Damayanti, I saw you have your hand raised.
I didn't, but I do have something I could share. And thank you for the class. That was fun. It was really enlightening. Just like on a logical level, if you know, Krishna provides everything for us, not just everything we have, but also our complete self, like the thoughts and the desire, like everything, the essence, like we've just been given existence. And everything we experience is given to us. Like it just seems, just on a logical level, like a natural like a natural, healthy thing to give back to our Father, or, you know, the source of everything that we are and everything that we have. Eventually, I mean, just to take and not even say thank you, you know, and then, so what's one thing is thank you. And then there's like, well, what can I do for you? And who are you? Like, it's becoming curious about who gave us everything. And it's just sort of breaking it down logically for me, and that it makes sense to serve this source of everything. And if the source is a person, then who is he and what is he like, and how would I serve this source? How would I serve the absolute truth? And you can find out who Krishna is and what he likes. And it just like, this is just logic. It's not so much sentiment or emotion, but like, that's how I think of it. Like, of course we would serve. And it's like, I've heard this before. I don't know where or who, but like, he gives us the satisfaction of being servants, like knowing that, I don't know, it's just the design of things that we are loving beings as well. And we can see that just on an atheist, just on a material level, that there is a propensity to be loving and to serve. And so when the soul is sincere, Krishna will give us the opportunity to return the ultimate favor and be his servant. And it's just like, it just really clicks with me, and I love it. So I just thought I'd share. Thanks.
Thank you, Damayanti. Dadami Buddhi Yogantam, you know, he will give the intelligence by which we can come to him. You know, Buddhi, intelligence. So yeah, I like your logic. It's always, you know, it's something you have shared practically from day one, that it made sense to you. And for me, I hear the logic, but it never touched my heart, that logic. But from day one that you came to Krishna consciousness, that logic have been so strong. Like, if everything comes from Krishna, the trees, you know, the nature, but not only that, my body, but not only that, my thoughts, not only that, but my ability. I'm the ability in man, he said about. So it's logical. Okay, I'm going to be grateful, and I'm going to stay thanks. But then, if someone gives me so much, the natural next step is I want to serve that person. I want to reciprocate with that person. I want to give back to that person, and I want to serve. And it's just natural logic. It's interesting because I'm reading right now a book with a lot of testimonial from Indian people in 30s and 40s. It's a book about Srila Prabhupada, but mainly what I want to share is have nothing to do with Srila Prabhupada, but it's a mentality of those people. And the mentality of those people is that in childhood, they understood that. You know, now children grow up, they take it for granted. Not only is they take it for granted, but they're entitled to the food, to the home, the education, the activities, and almost in the entire society is blocking that consciousness that bring entitlement. So we are entitled. We are children who are entitled. I'm entitled to be happy. I'm entitled to money. And if I don't, I'm miserable. I'm entitled to be treated well. So children like that. And reading that book from the 30s and 40s and 50s from India, people who are Indian, and there is so much like children who 11-year-old, you know, kids who met Srila Prabhupada, so they speak, but they are adult. They're 11-year-old and they already say, I just wanted to be around Srila Prabhupada and serve him. I was getting so much knowledge from him. Or there is one 11-year-old boy, he said, I went to Mathura and I found a book of Abhay Charan about medicine, and I wanted, because I was so interested in medicine, so I read his book and I was so grateful to read his book. I thought like, wow, it's a different planet altogether, that those young people, they were raised in a society where entitlement is not there towards God, but also towards the family structure, where the children, they grow up with that gratitude that my parents give me everything I have. Children don't have at all that, even a drop of that consciousness of my parents are giving me everything I have. My parents are taking care of me. My parents are nourishing my body. My parents are nourishing my mind. My parents are nourishing my intellect. My parents are nourishing my spiritual life. And, you know, in culture, in spiritual culture, that goes together. But we have lost that, and you know, and we can also do the parallel that as human beings we are like that, entitled, taking things for granted. So we naturally have a hard time going where you go with your logic, because it's not where we go in any time of our life. Yeah, thank you very much for sharing, Damayanti. Thank you for all for being here. Kantora Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go Rapimanandi Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.